Hi guys, welcome back. And we have today 2014 BMW 535 diesel, and I decided to make this video for you to show you a few problems. And the main problem that we see lately is people using the wrong coolant. And we had a couple situations with BMW specifically. Instead of using blue coolant that's specified for the vehicle, they someone somewhere sometime on the line, when they repaired these cars, they changed the coolant from blue to green. And we see this situation here with this car too. And what happens with this green coolant is, first of all, it starts to destroy different parts of the coolant system. In the other cars, there was an older 3 Series, it actually destroyed the heater core inside, and the car would warm up slowly, and then once it warms up, it'll or keep overheating. And in this case, with this 535 diesel, which is pretty rare for United States, it actually seems that it destroyed some seals. Um, I would say that it could be because of the time, maybe, but also, this coolant is not good for these German cars at all. This green one, and make sure that you never change the coolant to a different specification one than the one you have on the vehicle. And if you're using, if you're refilling or cleaning the coolant or flushing it, you need to have the original one or a similar aftermarket with the same specs, specifications. And in our case today, what I'm doing is I'm changing this pipe here. And unfortunately, this pipe here is under the intake, or one of the bolts. We have 1 and 2 here. These 2 bolts, you can see them right there. And there's a third one on the pipe, actually, and it's this one here. So that bolt is actually under the intake, so I have to take the intake out. That's gonna be a little bit of a mess, because it has these valves, electrical connectors, some vacuum lines here, and then we're changing the gasket on this whole housing. It's like a filter, oil filter, and oil core housing, whatever it is, because they saw some leakage behind there. That's the actual seal right here. I believe this should be probably just the oil, but it could have coolant. Not sure. I'll see when I open it. And we need to change some of these coolant lines also because they're leaking. And the way you start doing this is, the first thing that you remove is this, of course, the cover of the engine. Then you do this foam piece, and before you can remove this foam piece, you have to remove this actually. And this is in the back. It has just these 2 clips that hold it, one here and one here. And it's on the back of the engine, and you have to remove this power line over there, because it's clipped on those. And you disconnect first the one from the starter or the alternator, and then the one on the other side for the jump start. You need to get it out of the way because it's in here. And then you disconnect some lines. This line is actually the one that comes out of here, and then you have another line. It's this big line that comes out of there. Yeah, actually this line, yeah, it's there, and there should be, where's this one? Okay, yeah, we have this big line here, actually, sorry. It's this line here, which we are replacing with the new part there. And this is, yeah, this is the second line that's here. And it's pretty dirty. You need to make sure that you change the seal inside when you install it, because that seal right there all the way in, it's probably going to leak. These seals are famous for wearing out, and once you open it, then trying to put it back, it's most likely it's going to leak because of the time and deterioration of the materials. And so these are the major things, the pipes. And then I started removing these electrical lines, and these connectors here. One line, I believe this is oil pressure. It was just connected in a couple places with these little clips, and you just need to clear out everything around your intake so you can get it loose. It seems that the intake has these 10mm bolts right there, and right here there's one here, and there's another one. There's another one back here. Where is it? Yeah, it's actually back here. It's all the way back in there. It's hidden behind the lines right down there. And on the bottom you have that one there. Then you have this one, this 10mm here, and we have this one down here. It's this one down here. Yeah, this one down there all the way in. So those 10mm are gonna hold the intake. You have to disconnect this one here, and this one here. So just take these electrical connectors. This one was down here, was behind these pipes here. You need to hold this. You need to hold this clip part here out. You need to hold it with a hook tool backwards towards you. Pull it so you can pull it up. And this clip here is kind of strange. It sits on the alternator right here. It sits right here on the alternator side, and it looks like it has this handle, so you need to pull the handle out first, and then you need to go to the other side and push this this clip here to open it. There's nothing here. This is just like I think this may have a clip in the back, not sure. It looks just like a handle, but you need to pull it and then pull this one, clip it and then pull it out. So you pull this wiring out of the way, and there's a bolt. You have one bolt here. It's a T20. This one is T20, and then you have the T30 here holding this, or this is a T25, not a T30, T25. Also, I forgot to tell you that you have to remove the brace. This brace here, it's right here, and it has the 16 and 15mm bolts, And yeah, I forgot the intake. This is the air filter piping. The air filter piping has one bolt. It's a T30 right here. It's this one here. Then you just connect it and you pull it out, and then you pull the pipe that's holding the housing to the front part of the engine, right in here. So at this point, I'm pretty close to actually try to get these 10 millimeters out one by one, and I'll start with this one first here, the ones holding it to the front, this front pipe. And actually, I believe I'm gonna disassemble. Yeah, I'm gonna disassemble these two bolts that hold this pipe, so I can have a wiggle room with this pipe to, once I take these two out, so I can move it to the left, and then I'm gonna start to loosen these bolts, because I think there's one connector here. Okay, we have a connector here. I need to pull this connector, and it has this connector down here. They need to use a hook tool to get it out. And once I do that, then I can start taking the 10 millimeters out and probably pull it back there, because there's a bunch of stuff. Okay, I see a couple connectors. I'm gonna disconnect all these connectors first, so they're loose. Okay, the next step was I disconnected this one, this electrical connector. You just push it down and you take it out. If it's giving you trouble, you need to push it right here. When it's still connected here, you need to press this and it's not coming out, then you use a screwdriver. While this one is pressing, you push it out. And these here, you have to take this white or gray thing clip out to unlock it, and then you press it here. If it doesn't move, then you need to use a hook tool like this and get it inside here, and to make sure you press the little clip inside to open it, and then you pull, then you push to take it out. And it was the same way with this clip here. It has the unlocking thing in the back. Yeah, right here, you need to pull this, you need to push this out, and then I pushed it inside with the hook tool to unclip. You see that the black line here, the black part of the clip. You just use this tool to get it unclipped, and then you push out with the clip. So these things out here, it looks like maybe these are, yeah, we're gonna need to take this out, but I'm gonna leave them for now. I gotten these two bolts loose here, and I got these two, this one here and this one here, the two bolts holding this angle housing. And then I got this loose with a T30, and then there was another connector here. That's this T30 also, to get this out of the way. It seems like this is the only thing holding these two bolts, or the only bolts holding this. It won't move right now, and it seems like there's a clip here that's holding it, kind of pushed into this metal pipe. I'm gonna leave it for now like this. I don't want to disconnect it yet. I may not need to. All I need right now is because I think these bolts are already out of the way. I need to start taking the 10mm bolts on the intake out. Okay, I managed to get these loose, these bolts. I tried to pull them with a magnet. It seems like they're locking. They have some like a lock system that they keep in place. They won't come out, so that's good. But this one here, all the way in there, right there in that little corner, you have to pull the you have to separate these wires from the plastic clips here, because you're gonna need to lift them up, and you're gonna have to make some space for this bolt. This is where the bolt is, right there. So make sure you clean this space for this bolt. And the last bolt is the one down there, and I thought I have space for this one here, but I don't. It's in this thing is in the way, so I need to get this it's a T25 out, loose from the bottom, so I can actually have the so I can remove this little box of whatever it is. And it's already loose, it seems like. Okay, okay, it slides one way. Oh, it's just attached. There's nothing there. Okay, it's just attached to the unit there, to the intake. Okay, so make sure you leave these bolts at the same place you took them out. It'll help you when you need to install them. So the last bolt is that 10mm there, and okay, as you can see, the bolt won't come out. It just stops once it's loose. And I think, okay, I only see these two little lines, so I need to take them out, because I know that they're connected to this valve here. I'm not sure how. I think the valve is clipped to the intake, so make sure that remember that this is the red line here, and then the black one is in the back. I think you won't be able to make a mistake because this black one has this sharp turn. I'm gonna try to get them loose a little bit. Usually if you push these with a screwdriver, they'll start coming out. There we go. This one came out, and then the next one. Remember, if these lines are damaged, or you feel like you're not going to be able to reuse them, you need to change these lines. They sell these vacuum lines, just normal rubber lines. The inside, they sell them at the auto parts store. They're called vacuum lines. They have a few different sizes, because these are very often actually damaged through the time. They're cracked already. So yeah, just check the line after you take it out and make sure that you can reuse it. Okay, trying to disassemble more parts because it seems I need to take this out of the way here. And I took these the 3 bolts holding the throttle body to this pipe. They're held by these inverted Torx, and it's E8. And now, because this is not moving, I just discovered that the unpleasant surprise of BMWs, we have a 3rd bolt down there. I don't know if you can see it, but it's down there, like these, just like these 2, holding this to this. And it seems like it's underneath here. You're gonna need to go underneath here, and it should be right there. So I need to get the proper extension to get to it. I'm gonna use a small extension with a 10mm right here in order to get to it. So it's easier to use an electrical ratchet in this case because you have to get the extension in with the 10mm, and it's right there actually. So after disconnecting that one, you need to grab it here and you need to shake this whole thing to get disconnected. And this one is disconnected, this one is ready. Okay, you just take this out of the way, and because this is a diesel, I don't know what this is actually. I haven't really worked on diesels that much, but it's something bad, obviously. I'm gonna need to clean this. It looks like a weird, it's nasty. It's really nasty. So I think I've seen this with other mechanics from Europe dealing with this, and this pipe, including the intake there, gets clogged up with this, and also all the way inside into the intake valves. So next thing is I need to try to pull the intake now and see what happens. Okay, trying to pull this intake, it wouldn't budge, so the seals are probably stuck to the head. So you need to find a way to separate this, and I'm using this housing here, just the space kind of between this metal pipe here and this intake, and I pushed it to separate it. You need to do it slowly, and once you feel that it starts to separate, then you should be okay. And you need to try to pull more, and just be careful, pay attention to what you're getting out, and pay attention to if there's something else connected, and okay, once it pulls out, you can move it. You can try to pull it out here, and okay, I'm putting it out. Okay, we have this cable connector here. Okay, it's 2 cable connectors, or just clips, and here we go. The intake is out, and remember, it's gonna be dirty from the diesel, and we're gonna try to clean these a little bit, and it's kind of dirty here. It's a recommended procedure every time you take these out. Every time you take the intake, you need to replace these, unless they have been replaced recently, but in this case not, so we're gonna need to replace these, and we need to clean the intake a little bit. So yeah, here we go. This is the bolt that was stopping us. So now we have this whole space open, so we need to take these 3 out, and then we're gonna go down to this whole complete housing and continue with replacing the parts. So these look like the E8s. Already have this thing ready. So this is the actual major problem, and if you could see, there's a crack, and this crack was actually, yeah, this is the crack right here. You can see that crack is what was leaking, and maybe you can see it inside. Anyway, this is what it's messed up, and we have this pipe new right here. I'm gonna leave it with the bolts, so we know where the bolts are. This intake needs to be out of the way. I'm gonna leave it in a different place because I need to clean it. So we have this out, okay, and then we need to keep going with this. The first thing before you take this out actually is these I see 2, these are transmission lines, and they have a inverted Torx on the bottom holding them to this whole housing. This whole housing comes out with these 10 millimeters. We see, I see a bunch of them. I think I see maybe 6 of them. Yeah. So before I start, I need to take this. It's an inverted. It is an inverted Torx right here. It's right there that's holding it. Once you remove, this is what I use, the E8 inverted Torx, and you need to push these lines down. Remember, you put a pan underneath because this is gonna leak oil. I've been getting some coolant out already, and now the next thing is, remember, we're gonna have oil because this is the oil filter housing too. So we need to start disassembling the 10 millimeter that hold the whole housing. Okay, I can see, so there's one down here, here, and here, so that's 3 on the right side. Then I can see 1, then there's 2 right here, the second one's right there, and then I see the 3rd one down there. Yeah, so 1, then 2 right here, and then the 3rd one right there, so 6. Okay, again, since all these seals are gonna be stuck to the engine, you need to get something to pry out or try to separate it, and then you can take it out. I'm using this screwdriver and some solid place like this part of the aluminum. Be careful not to damage the aluminum, just very lightly kind of try to separate this. And remember also, this looks like there's an aluminum plate coming out with this right there. One aluminum plate that's coming out with this, but this is plastic, so you need to make sure you carefully, you push it out to separate this. It's just the 6 bolts. There's nothing else, it seems like. And make sure you got some pans underneath, because this is gonna leak, and it's gonna leak oil and coolant. So yeah. Oh my god, this is nasty. Oof. These oils are always nasty, so that's what we're getting. So we're getting coolant and oil at the same time, and we're changing this gasket because it was leaking. So I need to get a pan. Actually, I need to get a pan so I can put this in the pan. But this is the gasket that we're changing here, and we need to open these down there because they have gaskets. They need to be changed down there too. As you can see, there's another cooler down there between the engine and the first cooler. Okay, this housing looks like it has, yeah, like I said, 2 coolers, 2 oil coolers. So this is the one that we saw in the front, so we need to take these the torque bolts. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to start from the back here, and this is the first metal gasket with the rubber that we see here, and it's this one here. So we need to get a screwdriver, a flat screwdriver, and just separate this. And this one is ready to go out. You're going to need to clean this this surface here before you install the new one. And from what I can see, okay, here we see this T20 and a T20 Torx. It'll separate this plate from the plastic, because I'm sure that there's some seals underneath also connecting these. We have to change that, so I'm gonna do that first. And I'll leave these bolts here, and it seems like this is already coming off. Okay, this came out with the cooler connected to it. Okay, that's interesting. So we need to change. Okay, yep, we have this one gasket here that we need to change. Make sure this thing jumped out of here, so you need to make sure that this is back in the place where it was. And this is the first gasket. I'm gonna leave it here just in case. And this is the second one here. So this is the second one. So we have these two that go here that need to be replaced. Okay, actually, I think what I'm gonna do next is we're doing an oil change on this car too, since all this mess is out and the oil's really dirty. So I'm gonna open this oil filter housing and gonna throw the old filter out and try to clean this stuff around here. So I took the oil filter cap. This is a 27 millimeter, and what I'm gonna do before I clean the back, because all this nasty oils and stuff, everything is extremely nasty, so we need to clean this. And before I do that, I want to open actually and separate this part here from this. And it looks like we have the T30 bolts all the way around, all of these, and that's what I'm gonna do next. I'm just gonna open all of these and separate this. Again, it's T30, and then I'm gonna go outside and clean everything. Okay guys, when you take this cooler out here on the outside, that you can see from outside the car, it has two seals, these right here. You need to make sure you have these, or you need to order them, and they have to be replaced. And then you separate this plate here. I just used the flat screwdriver again. Once you separate it, you're going to see another set of seals. So it's this one here and it's this one here. So you need to make sure you have all of these. And again, I'm showing you these so you know the shape of these. This is all the way to the bottom behind this metal one. That's these. Then the second pair is these two, and then the third pair is these square looking ones for the external cooler here. And now all of this has to go outside to be cleaned before installation of the new seals. And the bolts, those are the three bolts that hold the they stay outside of the cooler, just in these three places here. You can actually see these middle inserts, and it's these three, this one here, and this one here in the middle. Those are the three. Then the other ones, because they're different sizes, I left them in the order they were taken out, so you can help yourself. The order is like, this is up like this, and with the filter on the top. So now it's the big mess where I need to start cleaning all of this. Okay, I'm back, and we managed to clean these parts. They look almost like brand new. Everything is clean and it's ready to go back. I remember all this was nasty. Now it's very clean, ready to go. These are the new seals, and one of the cores is the one that goes into this housing here down. Remember, before you install these cores, you need to clean the surfaces where the seals were touching, like here. I used a metal brush on a drill, and then I used a 600 grit sandpaper. You can use 600 or 800. Less than that, it would be dangerous. More than that, it would be pointless. So around 600 should be okay. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start putting this together, and before I can install, so this is the side that goes to the engine. Remember, this core goes inside here, but we had this part that was attached to this piece, and it's this one here to this. So we have these two seals here, and before I can install them, what I do is I usually smudge them with grease, like this, just normal grease, and this helps a lot when you install them, and it'll keep them safe, and you know, it just prolong the life of these seals. And this is it right here, and then you install them here, just like this. Okay. And then you can just put a little bit more extra grease. Okay, and then second one is here. Okay, let me get this one smudged or greased, and then we'll install it here. Okay, it's ready to go. Okay, let me clean my hands. And remember, this one had these T30 torque bolts. I cleaned the bolts too. It's just nice to work with these clean parts. So these are ready, and just need to fit them here. Okay. You can't really make a mistake with this one, so should be okay. And these bolts went this one here, and this one here. You can recognize them because they have a different metal cap on top of them, and they're at the same level. Remember, there's the same length too, right here. So this one is here, this one is here, and then this one is here. And okay, this is installed. 3 bolts are holding this part to this. It needs the rest of the bolts, but I'm waiting on those 4 seals to come. I don't have them yet, so I can actually install this on the car now, because I can that cooler can go lost. And these two seals, they go here. Those are the new ones. I already greased them up, and I just put them up here, or I put them in the slots. And this cooler is clean, and I already put just a little bit of grease, kind of smudged it to go in, so it'll help with the seals to work better and last longer. And yeah, those are the two seals, and remember they're in here. You can actually put a little bit of grease just to help yourself. And this thing is ready to go. I don't think you can make a mistake. It just goes in straight in. And remember, you have to install. Okay, 1 second. I'm about to make a mistake. Before we can install this, remember these two. And they're clean, they're ready to go. They look like oil valves or whatever. And remember, one goes in here. They don't look like they have any special way of going, but one is the big one. So one goes in here, and the small one goes in here. And this is the way they go. I don't think, oh yeah, you can actually kind of see where they go. One goes in here, the other one's on the right side. Yeah. Just to I'm just trying to check everything. They look like they spin. Yeah, everything is fine. I'm just checking them for placement, and if they're fitting right, everything looks fine. And the next thing is we install the housing in. So it looks like they're release valves. That's what they are. One actually has a stronger spring, the other one has a softer spring. And I think this is oil that comes through, so it gets released through those two. So now we need to install the T20, and you have to be careful. I would install them by hand because these look like they only hold this aluminum housing, so it doesn't come out when you're installing it and nothing else. Remember, the plastic is only on one side, so you need to be careful when you install them. And once they reach this aluminum surface, you can leave them alone, because you don't want to overtime, because they seem like they start to go sideways. As you can see, just a light touch, and that's it, no more than that. You see, the whole thing is moving already. So the reason is because this aluminum You don't want this aluminum to get stretched toward the plastic because there is a gap here. There's a slight gap. I know there's a gap right now because of the seals, but there's a slight gap here. I think this gap will close a little bit more. I guess we can time just a little bit more, but I've seen them going, trying to go sideways. So I'm gonna time a little bit more and just stop there. Okay, this is as much as I would go because they seem like they try to open on the inside. Yeah, you see they're trying to bend and open on the inside. So that's where I'm gonna leave them, and the next step would be installing this and then installing on the car. Again, I would grease this whole surface. That for sure will help with the installation and again the preservation of the seal. So a little bit of grease, and I have these guides right here and right here, so you shouldn't be able to make a mistake. Okay, here, just slightly push through. Okay, one pushed, the other one. I try to put some grease. Okay, yeah, this one pushed through also. I'm going to open this one a little bit and just put a little bit of grease in the hole. Okay, here we go. You see, perfect. It went through, and again, we can smudge these with grease, and this is ready to go back in the car. And make sure you I've already cleaned the side of the engine, and this would be ready to go now back in. Okay, this is ready to go in the car, and this is how it looks clean. That's what yours should look like. It has to be sanded down a little bit with the 600, cleaned up, polished a little bit, and then you can install it. So remember, you just have the 6 10mm bolts, and that's it. Okay, I just managed to install these 6 bolts. Remember, one here, one here, one on the bottom there, and then you have the one here, one in the middle here, and then one on the top, the last one. I used the ratchet first, and then I finished them with by hand, or actually I used a torque wrench. The torque specification on these bolts is 8 Newton meters, but I did about 12, just in case, because 8 is just very little. I don't trust 8 Newton meters, so I did about 12 Newton meters, so you should be okay. And this is remember, the next thing that we can do down here is the coolant line, or the transmission lines going to the this housing. They're right on the bottom here, actually, and you can actually see where they go into this metal. This is that metal piece, and you can probably just put a little bit of grease just in case on the seals here, just so you can make them go easier. Okay, I just smudged them with a little bit of grease so they'll go easy. And they're held by this bracket right here. So as soon as you get them in, they stop. This plastic bracket will stop into the metal one, and they're okay. They seem okay inside. Remember the inverted torques, that was I believe it was E8. Yeah, it's the inverted 8. It's this short bolt, and it goes down here. And make sure you start it by hand first, because it goes into a crazy angle. You don't want to strip the threads. And once it's in, you need to tie it. And that's it. No more than this, because you don't want to strip the plastic. Remember, this is plastic. The whole housing is plastic, so you don't want to break anything. So this is ready to go, and the next step would be installing, remember, that broken pipe, which is where the whole problem started. This is the broken one, and this is the new one. Remember to smudge the seal with some grease. And those are the 3 bolts. Again, they're the same inverted Torx, E8 or 8. And you can probably just install one bolt on the top first, and then you install it into the hole. And it has metal insert, so you can probably do about 10 or 12 Newton meters the same way. So once this is installed, the next step would be, once we get the seals, we're gonna finish this and install the this cooler. Okay guys, I'm trying to continue putting these parts together. I'm still waiting on these 2 seals, so I need to keep going, and I can actually keep going with the rest of the parts. And this was the problem part that was under the take, but I already installed it. This is installed. It just needs the external core, so we can go with the intake. I cleaned the intake as much as I could. We're not really getting paid for this intake to be cleaned, but if you can, this is what's inside. And it was much worse, but that's what it is. If you can clean this to a better level, it would be better for you. This was much worse. I cleaned as much as I could, and I need to keep going. Unfortunately, I installed the new intake seals and I greased them up, and remember, it just needs to go back in here. And remember this elbow, I would not tie the bolts on this intake before I can install this this elbow here. Now the elbow was extremely dirty yesterday, and I ended up cleaning this pretty good. Still has some little tiny stuff, but this was almost clogged up, so should be okay. And remember, you have to grease up this seal, because it'll touch the surface here. So I'm gonna slide this intake through the wires here, or actually over here, and in the back was just those two wires, or yeah, those actually hoses. So those two hoses clip on the back right here, and then we can actually install this unit. Yeah, I took this out yesterday so I can help myself to use this bolt. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna install this last when I tie the bolts, then the little box there. Okay. Okay, so when you install this, make sure you clip the wire solder back here. Remember, it has like a wide middle and a small spot. It's just the three. The big one is the wires, and then you have two middle and small holes, so they clip right away. And try to pull this right here out of the way, so you can slide in. Don't forget this. It will clip here, and kind of follow where the holes for the bolts are. This you need to pull a little bit out, and once you fit it in, kind of try to fit it in all the way in. And if you need to, you can use a mirror. I'm almost here. I'm actually in place, and what I'm gonna do next is, remember this this elbow here has to go here. So the elbow, we need to grease up a little bit. So we need to grease the seal. And it's ready to go in. Remember, the problem with this elbow was this bolt down here that was hidden. So in this case, it may be actually easier to install it now. Just make sure you get these wires out of the way. Okay, I've decided to install this elbow before I actually tie the bolts on the intake, so the intake is loose, and this thing is out of the way here. The throttle body to the elbow, remember, it connects. And this thing just has the three bolts here, these loose bolts. Remember, these two are gonna go into this metal unit here, and you just need to fit it in carefully. It has a guide, you cannot make a mistake right here. And that hidden bolt is my problem, the one down there. So I'm gonna install this right now, so I can help myself if I need to lift up the intake up here. If I need to lift it up, it's still loose, so I can actually lift it up and install the bolt underneath. And you just, again, use a little extension with a deep socket, 10mm, to install all of these. So this is, you need to install these two bolts. Okay, we need to get to the one underneath all the way down. So this is the bolt is right there, and you gotta keep pressing until you can get it all the way tight. So I got these bolts tight, these two and the bottom one. And I've kind of fitted this throttle body down here, so it's in place. These two bolts actually fitting in place also. They're ready to be tied. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start tying these bolts on the intake first, and then I'm gonna go with those two last here, so I can have this actually solidly mounted, so it doesn't move or anything. And please inspect everything around the intake, just in case you see something that's pinching on, or not in place. Remember, you need to these right here, it's this right here is clipped right there. That's the clip that holds these. Make sure you have those 3 lines clipped. It's not a big deal, but that's the way they're supposed to be at. And the most important thing is, again, try to make sure that this is in place, the intake is in place, and there's nothing around that's gonna go between or get stuck between the intake and the head, because you don't want to mess the whole job and then try to open this again. So that's your biggest issue. So I'm gonna start tying all these bolts, and of course, again, I always start from the middle. So I'm gonna start with these two and then going left and right with the other ones. Okay, I just got these tight, and also don't forget there's a bolt back there right on the top between the wires. That last bolt right there, it's this one right here. Don't forget that one, because it's pretty hidden. And the next 2 bolts are these two of this metal part here. It looks like an AGR or whatever. You need to tie these up, and then the last would be the 3 bolts to the throttle body. Okay, the bolt is right there, and then these right here. Okay, so we got this tight here, and we can start just putting these back in. Remember these 2 hoses, the black hose is on the top. You can install the black one, and then the red one was here on the side. This plug goes here, this plug. I think the next one I'm gonna do is this throttle body. Make sure the seal is inside, that green seal is in the right place. That's the only issue. And we have these 3 bolts here. So this one that's what goes next. Okay, remember this is the inverted Torx 8, and it goes here. Okay, this is done, and the next thing would be we can start to install these electrical connectors. This one here, you just plug it in, you push it, and then you clip it. And remember these little clips, this one goes here, and this is where you install the metal piece. This is the clip that holds this pipe, and this is a T30. It goes here and mounts here. And this is it. So this is where this pipe mounts into this bracket here, or this hole. And we can plug the throttle body right here. Remember this clip goes here. You can see the scratches, so we make sure the clip is opened, and you need to install it here and pull it until it clicks, and then you need to click this white clip. Okay, and then this thing goes here where it was, and then you have this strange clip here with the purple handle. Remember, it just goes straight in because this is the clip on this right side. So you just clip it in. It clicked. This actually moved when it clicked, and then you push the handle down so it clicks completely. And this goes right here. Well, actually before that we have this bolt here that's holding that's stopping this from going down, but this has to go where the bolt is, and that's a T20. So you release the bolt, and then you start the bracket, and then you tie the bolt where this. Okay, so this thing is ready here. Remember, don't forget this goes into this here, and make sure this is open, pulled back. Then you install it, and then you push the last click. This just sits right here, and you can install this too to this module here, right here. And okay, Yeah, I just clipped it back here. Just kind of tucked in this wire here. And the next thing is this this crazy looking plug. It needs to go down here, and it just plugs in from the top. Nothing strange. Okay, you press it here, and then this one clips into this hole here. And yep, this is installed. Just double check the plug, and this wire here plugs into the knock sensor, and it clips right here because you can see the scratches right here. So this one is right here, and it clips into the knock sensor. It just clips straight in, and the place where this fits in is right here where you see the scratches. So you just press it, and that's it. So everything fits right into place, just the way it was before taking apart. And I need to go and install these things here, but before that I actually got the seals here, so that's what I'm gonna do next. I'm going to finish this section here, so we're ready with this. And these are the actual seals in case you need them. BMW part, because they don't really show in some places. And I'm gonna grease these up, and I'm gonna install them. Okay, we got these greased up, and we're going to install them right now. You need to make sure that these go in specific places, because one of them is a bigger square and the other one is smaller square. So make sure you don't mix the places where they go. No, actually this is the come on. Okay, this is the small one actually. What do I have? Yeah, I have a small one, a big one. So this is the small one right here. The small one, and I have the big one here. And make sure you follow these teeth where they go. The teeth, the tooth here in the back. And you're gonna see that they fit. When they fit like this, they're ready to go. And the same way, we have the big and the small one. So the small one is here. Make sure the teeth, the position of the teeth back here, and the position here, right here. And this thing is fitting right, and the position of the tooth is on the left side. And this is how it's supposed to go. So you see, everything fits perfectly. And the next thing is we need to install the core. Okay, we're ready to install the core. Smudge the places where the seal are gonna fit, and just a little bit with grease. And remember the position of this. You have a guide here. This is where the guide is, right here. And just remember the position of the bolts. Make sure the seals are in place again. And here we go. We just kind of leave it in place, and don't forget, this is where we have the position of the bolts, the way they go. I'm gonna start with the one on the right side. So the one on the right side is this one here on the top, and these are T30 bolts, and I'm gonna go with the one on the top. This is the top one. And I'm gonna go with the one on the left top. The left top is right here. And just starting by hand if you want. And then we need to keep going down. We have two on the right and one on the left, so this is one on the right. It's this one here, and then we have one here and one on the bottom left side here. The bottom left is this big one, so fits. So this is the bottom left right here, and then we have one more, which is the last one here on the right side. And just time by hand, and I'm gonna use my air ratchet, or not, Milwaukee ratchet. And then afterwards I'm gonna time with a torque wrench. Torque wrench is about 10-12 newton meters. Again, 10-12 newton meters. I'll probably put them at 10 maybe, because those are metal connections to plastic, so 10 should be okay. And then I'm gonna continue with the rest of it. Okay, next thing is, don't forget, we have to tie this bolt that holds this pipe here. And I'm using actually a T30 because it fits the Allen, so it's okay. Some of these torques actually fit these Allens, so in this case it's faster for me to use this. And the next thing is, we need to install that little box that's down here, and it has just one bolt holding it, but I'm going to need to clip the plugs first. And remember, this one goes here where this bolt is. You gotta take the bolt out. So I plugged the plugs in the back, and make sure you clip the silver or white stoppers. Just check them, and then you can remember, it just slides in. You can pull it back. You can just pull it back, and then it just slides forward in this place. It just slides like this forward until it reaches this hole, and then you install the Torx bolt. It's a T30 again, and can install it right now. No, actually this is not a T30. That's a T25 actually. Okay, before we install these hoses, again, a little bit of smudge into the actual seal inside, and maybe a little bit here on these pipes here, because this will help you tremendously when you install them. A little bit of smudge on the little one here, and we can start installing them. The little one, you cannot make a mistake, they only go in one place. Make sure the clip is in the metal, the shims, you know, the clip is in. Then you just push it and it clips. You just push it and it clips. So this one is done. Then your next one is the one here. Again, you cannot make a mistake. Make sure the clip, the metal shims in. This clip is what I'm talking about. This is clipped in the left and the right side. This the left and the right side. Metal shims in. Again, this will go into this ridge. This ridge right here on the right side goes into this ridge, so you cannot make a mistake. Just goes one way. And as you can see, the clip moves when you clip it. And again, make sure you push the clip and that to know for a fact that it's in. Then we have this hose here, and I'm going to put some grease into the seal inside. Okay, so this one actually goes into this hose, and we are replacing this upper hose. This is a BMW part. This is the part number. If you want to buy it, it's an original BMW part. And this is the one that goes down into this hose, and then this one goes into the radiator. This one goes into that pipe there that was broken, and this little one goes into the expansion tank or the coolant tank. I'm going to smudge these seals. The seal right here, it's just this seal, because it'll help you again with the installation, and it'll keep these seals actually working for a longer time. Remember, this grease doesn't do any damage, and actually this grease from the heat is going to disappear anyway. So I'm just putting a little bit here. The first thing that you need to install is this hose into the bottom part. So that's what I'm gonna do first, and then I'm gonna install the rest of it. So I just pushed it. I pushed the bottom part, and this one is ready to go here. But I'm gonna install this first. Remember to make sure the clip is in. And again, this will only go on one side. It'll align with this line on the top right here, and that's where it's gonna clip. You know, what you have to do is just push it in, and be careful, because again, this is a plastic pipe that we replaced. So push it in until it clips. That's it, no more. And this part here, actually I need to clean Yeah, let me clean this a little bit. The aluminum part of the radiator, and all we have to do is just push it in. And yep, when you hear that loud click, that's where everything is in. Okay, let's shake it a little bit and see, make sure it's in. Make sure the clip is also in, the metal clip, because sometimes they jump and they don't go back, but everything is good. And in this case, this goes in here, and again, it'll only go one place, and it'll match the upper side or the upper guide. And there we go. It just clips in. Make sure the metal clip is in. So this is ready to go. It's in. The next thing that we don't have installed is there is a pipe here that connects these two pipes, and it's this thing here. It's this one here and this one here. This one goes to the firewall, and I'm gonna put a little bit of grease on I'm gonna put a little bit of grease inside on this seal, and on this seal on the outside. There are actually two seals on this, black and blue seal, so this would help me to install them. Okay, remember this one with the blue one goes into the firewall, the other one fits in here. So just clip the one into the firewall, that's it, and then you push this one down here, and this is it. This is the way that this fits, nothing else. And this cable is the power cable. It fits on top of the foam piece, so we need to install this foam piece. Remember, this thing has a specific shape with all the things that it fits on top of, so it needs to go all the way back in here, and you will feel where this thing stops. So yeah, see right there, it already fell into place, and we need to see where. Okay, it looks like this cable, yeah, this cable goes actually behind here. The power cable fits in here, and it fits in here. So we can actually install the power cable now. Then we can connect it here and just next to the foam piece and over there. Okay. Actually, it seems that this thing doesn't, the cable is on top of this foam, because when I try to fit this foam, it fit it right in, and the cable has no place to go in, so the cable is actually on top, and I believe the cable is even on top of that piece right there. We need to install this piece back here actually. But I'm gonna tie this cable first here, and this is the bolt that was holding it. I just put it behind here and through the bolt, and this is the nut that holds it. This thing nut, this and that's a T50 Torx, which I already have ready here. Again, that's a T50. It's already okay. We just installed it. Remember, this will go here and it'll go right there, but the next thing is I'm going to install this trim piece. and it has these two clips holding it, and the clips are here and here, and this goes behind. This is toward the side of the firewall. I need to see, yeah, this actually, this piece right here goes through this clip here, right here. So you just need to push it in, and again, okay, let me move the slide out of the way. Make sure everything is installed here. We got everything. I mean, I double checked it anyway, so everything is fine. And this will slide here. I think that gasoline engines do not have this part because they don't need this heat, where this is a diesel and it needs the heat. So this will only fit in one place again, and you need to make sure that it fits. Something was stopping it here, so I pulled it down, but here we go, it's in the hole. So you install this clip first, and as you can see, this is where the cable was actually sitting, right here. That's the old ridges of the cable, and we need to install the second clip right here, and it goes right here. Push it in, and this cable is ready to be installed. Here we go, and you need to go down here and pull it, and here we go. Yeah, this cable sits a little bit weird. I guess that's the way it just sits. Remember, we need to install next, and the last is actually the air filter right here. So the air filter. Okay, before we install the filter, make sure you smudge the entrance of the filter, their filter guide, so it helps you to install it. And then we put some grease. The next place you put some grease is right here into this rubber mount, because it's going to install on this bowl here, and it's just much easier when you have this, you know, greased up a little bit. And this thing only has one bolt holding it, and it's this one here. That's a 230, and this thing goes. Oh, you can actually put some grease down here also, because that's where this bottom part is gonna go. So just a little bit right here, and you just kind of fit it right there. You get the point, you push it in, then you fit it in here, then you make sure it goes down here. I'm gonna need my 2 hands to do that, so I'm gonna install it and then I'll be back. Make sure this bolt goes down here, because that's where you need to get the 230 tight. So I just pushed it down here, and then I pushed it down here, so it's already in the hole right here. So you need to get the T30 in the hole, and as you can see, this cable is actually kind of fitting into its place. and you need to install the T30, and that's it. And remember, don't forget to clip this. This fits on the top here, and make sure the clip is open. You clip it in, and then you clip it last. And I need to get this and pull this where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be up here where it stops. That's how you get it tight. So make sure you fit in the right spot right here. This is the right spot for this where it stops, and then you just get it tight. Also check that it's all the way in, and then get it tight by hand. When it stops, you just do a little bit more, and no more than this, because you're risking breaking these teeth. So the last thing on this side, and we need to install the air filter. So the air filter is pretty straightforward. It just goes down, and it clips with these clips, so you can figure that out. It's not a big deal. You fit it in, then it clips, and then we're doing an oil change, so we need to install the oil filter, the new oil filter and oil filter housing, well, not the housing but the cap, back into the oil filter housing. And you have this bracket here, the support bracket. I'm doing another job so on this car, so that's why I'm not going to install it. And then you have the last thing is this cap here, and this is the whole job. So again, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.